After the 20th anniversary of Barney, they have been putting out some good content and events here and there, such as the home videos, the live shows, the Perfect Platinum CD album, The Secret of the Rainbow, which was the last Barney PC game. A Barney balloon flies through Neiman Marcus and Adolphus Children's Christmas Parade in Dallas, Texas, etc. As for Barney and Friends, well, I don't even know if it's doing well or was about to decline in viewership. But anyway, after the 12th season, a 13th season of the show has been commissioned. Will this season will be a great finale to the series, or it will be decent just like season 12? As always, let's find out for ourselves. Cue the intro.
Barney comes to play with us whenever we may need him. Barney can be your friend too if you just make believe him.
Okay, so let's get to the major factor about the camera's frame rate. In the past 16 years, Barney and Friends was shot in NTSC 4:3 and standard definition, but in this season, as well as the last, Barney was shot in 16:9 and high definition in pure 1080i, as opposed to the 480i, and because of this, you can see the opening having these colorful borders to censor the black bars. But when the show aired in certain areas on PBS, one of us got the 4:3 aspect ratio as opposed to the 16:9 aspect ratio, leaving the widescreen versions of those TV airings quite hard to come by. You can still see them today, even the ones that has the Barney travel book segments, but I'll get to that later. Anyway, season 13 was filmed from October 16, 2008 to January 14, 2009, and it welcomes another cast of characters once again. Some of them have been carried over from the previous season, and some others have been carried over from the home videos, such as Emma, Ben, no, not that Ben from Ben 10, or Ben from Thomas, thank you, Joshua, Tracy, Myra, and a few others, while some others are introduced, either appearing in one episode, a few episodes, or appearing only in this particular season. Those characters included Connor, Ellie, who is the same exact kid actor who portrayed Danny back in season 10, Natalia, which her actress will go on to be the voice of Gwen Tennyson from the Ben 10 reboot, Kyoko, and Rusty. No, not that Rusty from Thomas. Thank you. And also, Ben Lux is the brother of Austin Lux, who portrays Ben, just to let you know. So that's interesting to think about. Now let's get on to the Dynamite crew, and we'll start off with Barney. And oh my gosh, Barney has a smaller mouth, a shorter tail, to provide the performer with better footing within the costume, and most of all, Barney's feet are fully connected this time. And this is something that we should have had a long time ago, and that is an awesome design. Fun fact, this costume was made for Kerry Stinson specifically for his measurements, and because of this, he's the only person who can wear the costume, then nobody else. And while the feet are attached, but the soles are separate from it, and Stinson's shoes are linked into the soles to make entering simpler. This is honestly my favorite Barney design just because of the connected feet alone. It gives Barney a more realistic appearance, even more so than the previous suits, where the feet are separate from the costume. So I'm glad that they made a decision to make Barney's costume to have connected ankles and feet. I only wish that they would make the blinking mechanism just so that Barney can blink again. But oh well, beggars can't be choosers. This is definitely my number one Barney design for sure, if I rank all the costumes in a tier making video, but that's an idea for another time. Now we move to Baby Bop, and oh my goodness, she is smaller than usual. Baby Bop's eyelashes are shorter and are close to the top of her eye. The springs in her mouth are slightly loosened, making her mouth much more movable. The upper muzzle was much smaller, and her tuft appears slightly in front, just like the cartoon illustrations. Her ears are a brighter color, become smaller. Her nose becomes square. The stomach spots, bow, and slippers are giving a lighter shade of the magenta purple. And of course, in the side and back areas of the costume adheres the shape of the new female body actress for Baby Bop. And the actress who plays Baby Bop is Lauren Mayux. Sorry if I butchered her last name. She was the costume performer for Baby Bop starting in 2007 during A Day at the Park with Barney. Then she received notice that the television series was looking for a new actor or actress to portray the young green Triceratops. She flew to Dallas for a couple of times for auditions, and then she ended up getting the role after Jeff Ayres' departure. She continued on in the series until 2011, performing the character for some of the new content in season 14, live appearances such as Barney Live in Concert Birthday Bash, and photo shoots. After the TV show had ended, Lauren continued to portray Baby Bop in A Day at the Park with Barney until the attraction's closure in 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And because of the wonderful performance, I tied her with Jeff Ayres because both of them are wonderful as the character in various ways. As for BJ and Riff, well, they remain the same mostly. Nothing much else to say about them, aside from Gerard Harris performing the character in the season after Jeff Ayres' departure, like I said before. Oh yeah, this is also the final appearance of Mr. Brantley, and as you can see, he definitely lost some weight. I guess he has been exercising to stay in shape. And this is also the final appearance of Mr. Copeland, and as for the guest appearances, I will talk about some of them once I get to my favorite episodes. This season is focused around the themes of friends and family around the world, and thus, in every episode, Barney and his friends travel to various countries and continents by using Barney's travel book. That's why Here We Go Again appears in every episode, and I don't mind it. The song is really catchy. Anyway, let's get on to the episodes. Bien Divino Barney Mexico is a decent episode of Baby Bop's friend Monty was left behind by his monarch friends and family, so the Dinos and Emma took a trip to Mexico where the flock of butterflies are passing them by, and Baby Bop lets Monty go out of his little cage and said a heartfelt goodbye. Fun fact, this episode is a shortened version of Let's Go on Vacation, and it is the second episode that is a condensed version of the home video, the first being A Little Mother Goose, which is a shortened version of Barney's Rhyme Time Rhythm. Big Brother Rusty China is also a decent episode of Rusty is going to have a adopted baby sister from China, and he's not too sure that he's going to be ready to be a good brother. So Barney shows the information about China, like the Great Wall of China, for instance. And then they took the travel book to visit China, where they're having lots of fun at the Chinese New Year event. I'm really impressed of how stunning the choreography is when watching the Chinese lion dance sequence. After making lanterns and seeing a puppet show, BJ got a bit bossy and broke Baby Bop's lantern, and then they make up in the end. And then Rusty met his new baby sister from China, named Mei Ling. Sweeter Than Candy Grease is a good episode of BJ can't help himself from eating pickles while everyone is putting things together for a school play, as well as they play the story of King Midas while they are in Greece. And it is about Midas loves candy and spends his time counting every day, but then got greedy of wanting more, so the magician is going to have to teach that guy a lesson.
Looks like I need to teach this king a lesson.
Huh? What'd you say?
Oh, nothing.
Oh yeah, that little fourth wall break gave me a slight chuckle, as well as this line.
Okay, Kingy baby.
Unfortunately, things have gone a bit too far to the point where he hugs his own family into candy, and Midas learns his lesson, and then the magician took his powers away and got his family back.
Hold still.
Ribbit. Ribbit.
Whoops, my bad. Gotta get this wand fixed.
Ribbit.
And then he learns he loves his family more than candy. And possibly my favorite episode of this season is A Bird of a Different Feather, Hawaii. This episode is about Tracy finding a bird of paradise for a school project. Then Barney took the kids to Hawaii, that way they can find it. While there, they enjoyed everything on what they saw in Hawaii. Then Ben and Rusty are looking for the bird of paradise, and one of them thought it was the bird until a coconut landed on Ben's net.
I'm stepping on my foot! Watch out! Here it comes!
Thanks a lot, dude.
Here it is! I got it! I got it! You got a coconut. Oh, I thought it was a bird of paradise.
Typical Ben fashion, am I right? Then Maylee shows up and the kids and Barney did the hula, and then after that, the bird of paradise is actually a flower, and the feather that Ben has on his head is from a peacock, and he almost fooled Rusty, but after all of that, all the things had ended up just fine. And the moral of the story is we are learning new things every day, even when people grow up, and that's why I consider A Bird of a Different Feather to be my favorite episode of season 13. Also, at the end of every episode, we have the travel book segments where Barney explained the episode's journey about the country's culture, and I love those segments. And I wish that they have been released onto home media. Again, this is what happens when some segments from the hit era, especially in the later seasons, get obscure and never see the light of day. I pray that Barney's World will be a decent or a good success, so that way they could put out hit era seasons in literal box sets. Barney and Friends Season 13 ran from September 7th to September 18th, 2009, and all of the episodes were released onto home media either in widescreen or not. From the early to mid-2010s, this season can also be found onto some streaming site platforms, such as Amazon Prime Video, FilmRise, Tubu, the Roku channel, and of course, Netflix, until Barney was removed in late April 2024. So in conclusion, what do I think about Barney and Friends Season 13? Well, I say that this season is great. And it's probably my favorite season of the hit entertainment era from the 2002 to 2010 time period. Unless if you count the home videos that were released in the early 2010s afterwards. I enjoyed everything about this season. I love the Barney design with the connected feet, The characters, including the kids, are great. The music from Joseph Phillips is really good and always updating the songs, old and new. The choreography is stellar. Carter Crocker, Michael Anthony Steele, Dean Stefan, and Fred Holmes, just to name a few, did pretty good of writing these episodes. And the around the world aspect is a joy to watch. It makes me wish that they should have done the whole around the world aspect sometime later in this hit era. So for that, I'm going to give Barney and Friends Season 13 a 10 out of 10. And that concludes today's episode of Barney's Anniversary Month. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and let me know what are your thoughts on Season 13. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's okay? We are getting close to the end of the series. 13 seasons down, and only one more season left to go before we move to the home videos. This is Dre Edwards, and I'll catch you on the flip side. So, sayonara, au revoir, ciao, mahalo, and adios. I'll see you next time.